my memory wasn't all that good, so I would have to Paul parrot. My mother would go over the lines, or sometimes Jonathan would go over the lines with me, and I would remember them that way, much better than reading them and remembering them. I don't feel like anyone ever felt that I upstaged them, which I think is a problem sometimes with child actresses and actors. I loved working with Jonathan, and especially off-screen, because I admired him, is what it was. I respected him as an actor, and I was impressed with working with him and people like Joan Bennett, who my mother constantly told me what a star she was, and I may not having ever seen her myself, but I respected her greatly for that too. And John Carlin, I talked to him at great length sometimes off stage. He used to ask me questions like this on an interview type way. He would say to me, I remember one time particularly, he asked me if I felt starstruck. I was 8 years old. I didn't know what he meant. I couldn't even answer him. I didn't know. People like Catherine Lee Scott, I always thought she was beautiful, and Laura Parker. Those were my impressions, again, of from an 8-year-old's eye. It's like watching home movies and looking through old photos of your family, only personified. It jogs my memory, things that I never even thought of. It happened this morning. I was going through one of the memorabilia rooms, and I saw a picture of a rehearsal set, sitting around the table going through the script early in the morning, coffee and Danish. I hadn't thought about that in a long time, and it was like, oh, I remember that room. I remember those mirrors, I like that. I think it's neat that it jogs that. Well, I look and I think, oh, isn't she cute? It's like watching someone else. It really is. I have no regrets having done TV and commercials and modeling when I was a child, except that I felt like I missed some things. I was moving from Philadelphia to New York. I'd get a group of friends in Philly, and then I'd have to leave to go back to New York, and it was disruptive. School-wise, it was disruptive also. I still don't know my times tables very well because I feel like I missed them in the interim. But it was exciting, and I learned an awful lot. I was surrounded by adults, and I think for any child that is going to go into the business, there should be an emphasis on them having peers around them. I think I would have liked that more, but I have no regrets. I think it was great. It's kind of awkward for me now looking back, but it was great. It took 20 years for me to find out how big it actually was. There were very few people in my neighborhood or around me that I knew of that were watching it on a regular basis. It wasn't until later that I found out that their older brothers and sisters were running home from school to see it. But there is one other thing that I would like to mention, and that is I received an awful lot of fan mail when I was on the show. And being 8 and 9 years old, I didn't respond to all of it. I didn't understand then. And for anybody who is still a fan who didn't receive a response on their fan mail, I apologize. It's just something that's bothered me for a while when I go through it now. I don't know. I think it's great. I really do. I enjoyed it. I can't believe its popularity, but I think it's unique because it was such a unique show. Even though sometimes I watch it now and the fans won't like to hear this, but I look at it and I think it's a little dated, camera work-wise, script-wise, a little bit of everything. But at the same time, it's refreshing because it's so unique. There isn't anything else like it on TV that I know of, that I've seen.